Hello and welcome to Talkin Baseball. The Padres even up the series with the big comeback, and the Yankees lose game 1 to the Astros. Let's talk all about Hello and welcome to Talkin Baseball. It's brought to you by SeatGeek. My name is Jimmy. We got Jake. We got Trev. We got producer BBD behind the dish. We got 2 games to recap, a couple games to preview. We're going to have some fun. The first game, Phillies, Padres. Jake, do you have a burn?
Oh, yeah.
Always, Jim.
Let's hear the burn.
Phillies up 1-0 in the series, trying to fully knock out the Padres and go 2-up in San Diego. Trev's guy, Snellagram, Blake Snell, Ben don't break, buddy, versus the brother. Battle begins. Nola on the bump for Philly, and in the second, oh no, 37 pitches, some contact. We're having a Bowman. He gets the RBI single. Veerling, the bottom of the lineup, with the RBI double. Edmundo Sosa, my guy, and Schwarbo with the RBI groundout. Just like that, it is 4-0 Bills. But these Padres, it's time to rally, Goose. Trev, Brandon Drury, former Yankees great. Josh Bell, the fortitude to make the score 4-2 after 2. In the 5th, oh no, brother on brother crime. Trev getting beat up by his big bro. Nola RBI single. Kim scores 4-3. Soto puts a charge into 1. Welcome to the series. We're tied up at 4s, and now we are blowing it out of the water. 5 in the 5th, the biggest Padres run scoring inning in playoff history. And then at the end, I'm feeling like Manny Machado on me. 8-4. Reeser puts one on that pretty right-handed swing. Harper, double play, no dice. Padres being down 4-0, rally to win 8-5 at home. We are tied at 1s heading to the Philadelphia.
Good stuff. Good stuff. That's why you play 9 innings, and that burn was brought to you by MLB 9 Innings, Jake's favorite mobile game. Show him, Jake. You still got it on your phone?
I'm on it. I'm playing right now. I'm the Yankees. This is my season. Maybe you're familiar with them. We're doing pretty good. We're down 0-1 in the NLCS, but we're doing pretty good.
Wow, life imitates art, or art imitates life. You can download and play the MLB 9 Innings 22 today. The MLB 9 Innings 22 today with there's a link in the description on YouTube or podcast app. They got a wide variety of game modes, league mode, users play through a season or live, player versus player. They got a bunch of historical great players in the game. They got active players now. Go have some fun. Challenge Jake. Don't let the thrill. Is Plouffe in the game?
No.
They have some legends. I haven't unlocked the Plouffe card yet.
Download and play MLB 9 Innings 22 today with the link in the description. All right. Trev, what you got on this game? I mean, they tie the series, which is what I guessed, but I also said that I didn't think the Padres were the big inning team, and then here they go having a big inning.
Couple big 5 runners for them this playoff season. You know, it was an incredible win for the Padres to go back and to come back after, you know, a pretty suspect 4-run inning for the Phillies. You know, you have like kind of all the bloops. So like you look at the Snell line, it doesn't look that good, but when you go back to that inning, nobody really hit the ball hard. You have the sun ball to Soto, which was really tough. Like at first glance, I was like, dude, you got to make something happen there. But then they panned and like showed the sun. It turns out the sun is pretty bright, and there was nothing he could really do about that ball. So tough luck for Snell, but I thought even almost bigger than the 5-run inning they had. I know that was obviously big, but for them to go and answer in the bottom of the second with Drury and Bell specifically getting going,
5 hits.
That's massive for them.
5 hits between the two of them.
That is exactly what the Padres needed. I love the answer there. So now it's a 2-run lead. You're right back in the ball game. Even Drury said the same thing. He's like, I hit the homer. It's nice to get one back. But then as soon as Bell hit that one, he's like, dude, it's a 2-run game. We're right back in this thing. And then they go ahead and they string together a big inning there in the 5th. And both those guys are right in the thick of it again. So Snell ended up, settling down after that second inning, which I think is great. Bend don't break, as Jake likes to say. And they were able to score some runs off Nola there, and the bullpen held. Another great appearance by Hader. It was just a massive, massive win by the Padres because they were staring down an 0-2 deficit there heading into Philly, which would have been pretty tough to overcome. But they've done this a couple times now in the playoffs, and this is gearing up to be like an awesome series.
Little gut check, right? I mean, down 4-0 at home. Nola on the bump, and I was laughing because I was giving my speech yesterday about how much I love Nola, but Wheeler's probably better, and I need to give him more respect. Right before the game, Saris posted an article like, "Is Nola actually the best pitcher in baseball?" And I was like, "God damn it, I just flipped back." That you're down 4-0 to one of the best pitchers in baseball. And you're about to really blow, home field advantage. You're going to have 3 games in Philly, and they're going to have the 2 bad men at the top of their rotation again in this series. Like to go down 2-0 with those, potential 5 games remaining, if you get to them, is a daunting ask for any team. And this Phillies team that's had the good juice, the Padres, gut check. You're right, Drury and Bell stepping up. Adding more threats to that lineup is massive for them going forward against that Phillies lineup depth. And then even Manny and Soto being involved is just as important because, I think we're going to talk about it with the Yanks later and how the little contributions they got from some of their big boys. You need your big boys too. Like you need all of it if you want to be a World Series team. So for them to come back from down 4 at home, essentially season on the line, or putting yourself in as bad of a spot as you could possibly be. And they put it together. So credit to the Padres. And I don't know if we want to go there now. Can't believe it was a day game. We've got an East Coast team, West Coast team. Like what we got to be a little better with that.
Yeah, it affected the game. I mean, we saw the Soto ball. Also, when Bell hit his single down the line there in that 5th inning, he didn't even know where the ball went. He couldn't see it. The batter couldn't see where he hit the ball. So the shadows are just part of the playoffs. They got to, I don't know. I don't know why they have to have the games all these different times, but they do. That's just part of the playoffs. So you have to deal with it. But definitely, it affects the game. It affects the series. Luckily for the Padres, they found a way around it.
Yeah, the day game stinks. Luckily, Soto came back with a double at the end to cap off the big inning because the sun ball was brutal, Trev. I haven't been out there in the sun in a long time. I'm interested about it, but you could totally see when he did his glove and they showed that he was shading. My hat's kind of doing it. He was shading his cheek. Like he was just missing the shade on his eyes. And I have no idea the feeling of trying to block the sun anymore. I haven't done it, but it was funny because he had his glove up and it was casting a shadow, but he was just missing his eyes. It was like cutting off on his cheekbone.
There are times where you put that glove up and it's covering. Now you're not blocked by the sun, but then you lose the ball because the ball is just right exactly where it shouldn't be, and there's just really nothing you can do about it there. And I know it looks bad because you end up shielding yourself because you don't want to get hit. And maybe you think, oh, just throw your glove out there and see what happens. But it's difficult. There are just times where you can't protect the sun. He had his glasses on, he had his glove up. You're right there at the end. He wasn't shading his eyes whatsoever, but I think it was because he was blocking the ball with his glove. And there's not really much you can do. You can use your throwing hand to do that as well. But if you're not like on the side of the ball and it's kind of coming straight at you, you don't have that angle. It just looks bad. And it's scary out there when that happens, dude. And you feel bad about it too.
One more notch in talking about all the things the Padres have right now that they can lean on, like the bottom of the order got going, Drury and and Bell, but the top of the order stayed hot. Manny has 3 hits, opens it up with a double. Another one is D-Rob makes his appearance in this series and gives up 3 hits, and Manny pops him for a homer right away. And, that could have been a big difference maker, but also you could say, well, it's his first game into the series and blah, blah, blah. I don't know. On the Phillies side, they split on the road. Now it's a 5-game set and they have home field advantage. And Harper is still hot as shit. And I think you're okay. I don't think Phillies fans, I know that it sucks they lost because then they had a big lead and they lost, but you want to split on the road and you did. So they're still in a pretty good spot.
It'll be interesting to see where they go in Philly because, they use their 2 guys. Now I think it's Suarez and then probably a Syndergaard start before you get back to Wheeler. So the Padres, I think, have the advantage going back in as far as the first 2 games and the starters are throwing. Rangers, no slouch. Syndergaard's no slouch. But I think the guys the Padres are going to throw out there, obviously it's Musgrove and most likely Clev. I think you have a little bit of advantage there. But, dude, we've seen these in this series and throughout these playoffs. Like, both these teams are capable of putting up a big number, a big crooked number at any given time. Defense, I love this series because defense can be good or it can be really bad, and that's going to open up innings and create even more crooked numbers. And I think that's what we're going to see throughout this series. It's like you might have a lead, but that doesn't mean that lead is safe until you get to that back end of that bullpen, which the Padres have looked really good. I think you got to keep scoring because these crooked numbers are just going to keep continuing.
Yeah, and that's the only caveat I'd throw in there, Trev, is that, when you see the Padres offense do this and we know what the Phillies offense can do, there is one unit that still hasn't done that, and it's the good Padres bullpen. So that's, for me, that's currently the difference maker. We'll see with the rotation guys, and I know as the analytics guy on the crew, and we got the stat, if a series is 1-1, the winner of game 3 wins 71% of the time. So pretty big game. And overlooking game 3 to game 4, Syndergaard and Clev, how's your hair? How's your recovery? Couple legends trying to get some big contracts coming up. This series has it dialed in for the most fun and chaos you can see in a playoff series. I think a little bit of that is getting, at 80 win teams instead of 100 wins teams. I think these teams do have their holes, but they also have the high end talent that we talked about. But that Padres unit at the back end, man, being lights out again. Padres or Phillies, you did your job. You split one. These next 2 games, I do think you're behind it a little, but man, we said that with Atlanta and they came into a crazy Philadelphia. And when the offense puts up a big number early, you put yourself in a really good position to win. So, this has all the makings to go at least 6 or 7.
I think towards the end of the game, what's that?
Juan Soto's about to turn 24.
That's kind of ridiculous. At the end of the game there, who was pitching? Suarez was pitching. You get the Hoskins homer, makes it 8-5. Rio Muta hits the single. You're like, okay, here we go. Harper's up. They got the shift on, and just an absolutely beautiful double play by Machado to Kim to Drury right there. And we've seen that almost same play in the first game. Phillies could not execute that play. Padres executed that play. That's something you have to look there too. We've talked about the Padres defense and how good it's been. We talked about Phillies defense and how that's not their strong suit. It showed up, I think, in the wild card round, but these things start to add up, and the more balls that get put into play, the more situations you get put into play. I think we're going to see a difference between these 2 teams, and that could mean the difference in the series. That double play was massive right there. You saw the reaction by Machado after he turned it to. Everyone knows, man, if they mess that play up, now all of a sudden the tying runs up at the plate, things can happen in a hurry, but turn that double play, you clear the bases, 2 outs, the game's over. That game's over after that play. So I thought that was massive. And then you want to talk about analytics, Jake. You're our analytical guy. Can I give you a stat?
Need it.
Game 3 swing game. teams that take the 2-1 lead in the best of 7. Did you already say that?
That was his analytical stat.
That was my analytical stat.
I thought you read the 55% one.
No.
You read that
both
one.
of them?
Literally the exact same analytical stat that's not analytics.
Oh. It's not really analytical. I thought you read the 55 after, what is that one? I guess I just wasn't listening to you. I apologize for
that.
Baseball.
He said analytics and you turned off your brain. Juan Soto's got a secret. Kenny Rosenthal put out an article about Juan Soto today in The Athletic, and I was reading it. And also it's the headline, but then I read it to click in to see if he gives away his secret. He doesn't. Juan Soto, Trev said, every at bat, little by little, I feel better and better. It's pretty close. There's just one little thing I got to fix. What is that little thing? Soto wouldn't say, but he finds it. But if he finds it, the 2019 version of Soto soon might reappear. So he's searching for one little thing, Trev. What do you think it is?
I don't know.
Me neither.
That's the article. He's got a secret, but he won't share it.
Well, it's a really good article about just Soto in general. That's really long. I just read the last paragraph.
Okay. Turned on one last night. I'm thinking if there's a timing thing. I don't know. What's his secret? I would love to know.
One little thing.
It's just, I think, outsider judging Juan Soto's swing. He's just not getting his hands through.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That seems like a big thing.
Maybe you should evaluate his swing.
Should I tweet at him?
Yeah. Maybe you should be his online hitting coach. I've retired from that.
He doesn't care about us.
You had a good run.
What did he go yesterday? 1 for 5. Has
1 for 5. But the double was in the middle of that rally. You know what was else in the middle of that rally? Nola was getting beat on fastballs. I think Drury got him on a 4-seamer. Bell turned on a 4-seamer. And then in that big inning, Kim hit a pitch at his knees. Kim's impressive, man.
Yeah, he's been playing really well.
Like, I thought that was a good pitch by Nola, but he went down and it was like knee high strike. And then his brother, 0-2, they go fastball in the zone to his brother and he gets a hit. So then he's like, all right, I'm going to change it up. I got to go curve. First pitch to Profar, tries to get like a little get me over curve. And Profar's like, nope. On to you. Knew that was coming and hits him. That's got to be a little defeating. You're like, fuck, he hit the curve too.
Yeah, I think a lot of his location, with some of those heaters and stuff. Like the one to his brother was, he was trying to backdoor that thing down and away. I think it went kind of like stayed up, which allows you to get there a little bit easier. Allows you to keep that ball off the ground, essentially. If that ball's down and away, he's going to hit a ground ball to shortstop or to second baseman. But because it was elevated, he's able to drive it into right field. And that like video of his dad just like not knowing how to react is hilarious. He's like, everyone around him is cheering. He's like, I don't know what to do. He had to be rooting for Aaron last night, right? Like,
yes,
he gets a start. So you root for him on his start day. Maybe you win the other games without him starting. I don't know.
He's rooting for Austin to go 4 for 4 and it not to affect the final score and Aaron Nola get the win.
That's hard. That's like being a fantasy football manager watching all these games. I need this to happen, this to happen, this to happen.
Yeah.
Very, very similar to having your two sons play in a NLCS
same
game.
Thing. Everyone can experience.
Yeah. I think people would say that's a fantasy.
Thank you.
Wow.
Ha-Sung Kim, you mentioned him. This guy should have got more votes for all JM utility. I mean, he played 131 games at shortstop. If shortstops didn't go nuts in the NL this year between Lindor, Dansby, and Trey Turner, guy put up a 5-WAR season, man. He passes the eye test defensively easily and 107 OPS plus. I know that obviously doesn't jump off the chart, but a year where offense was down, he was a plus hitter, a plus defender at the spot, arguably the most important spot on a baseball field, the sport we're going to talk about with other teams, and a spot where their best player coming into the year was supposed to be. So talk about unsung heroes. Maybe we start singing it more.
Yeah, I just like watching him hit. I think he's got a fun approach and field.
Yeah, defensively, he's a whiz, man. He's come up with some big hits for them, and I think that's kind of all you need to do. Don't worry about he's hitting 188. It's like, give me some moments, dude. Give me some hits with runners in scoring position. Keep the line moving, whatever it is. He's been able to do that.
Yeah.
He had one of those contracts that you had no idea how it was going to work out because it felt like the Padres were guessing too. $6 million this year, $7 million next year, $8 million the next to play great defense wherever you want and be an above average league bat. He's a stud.
Let me ask you this. This is interesting. You just read that contract. He has a $1 mutual option with a $2 million buyout. That's like funny business with the contract.
That's funny business. That's off-season talk.
What is that, dude?
Yeah.
Is this wrong?
It's got to be wrong.
Okay, I got to read into that now.
I don't know if it's wrong.